On your left.
Hello, and welcome back to our show, The Wake Up Call. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Richard Martin, and it is Monday, February the 14th, 2022, and I'm talking to you from Malaysia. The lack of critical thinking that we see in the world of journalism today is quite frightening. Way too often, the mainstream media simply take the information that it's being fed and packages it as what it calls truth for an unsuspecting public. Since the general public does so little critical thinking these days, most of the time the information or misinformation that's being foisted upon us goes virtually unchallenged. That is one of the reasons I hope you've been enjoying my shows over the years. I'm happy to challenge the official narratives, and I encourage you, my listeners, to think for yourselves and come to your own conclusions. There's so much misinformation I could discuss, but today I'm going to focus on some of the recent economic lies that we've been told. On Friday, a week ago, NPR was thrilled to report that the US economy, quote-unquote, added 467,000 jobs last month. Quote, "The US job market came through January in much better shape than expected, despite a winter wave of coronavirus infections. Employers added 467,000 jobs last month, according to a new tally from the Labour. The gains came despite a surge in COVID-19 cases tied to the Omicron variant." End of quote. But the US economy didn't add 467,000 jobs last month. It actually lost 2.8 million jobs. So how does a loss of 2.8 million jobs become a gain of 467,000 jobs? This is where what they call seasonal adjustments come in, and as one expert quoted by Zero Hedge noted, quote-unquote, "There has never been a January seasonal adjustment of this magnitude." At this point, the conundrum behind the massive January beat should be clear. This is how a 2.8 million actual drop in jobs translated into an adjusted plus 467,000. This has to do with seasonal, COVID and population control adjustments. This is actually something I and others flagged when noticing that month after month the BLS appeared to be using stale seasonal adjustments. But digging deeper shows that this was not just an ordinary seasonal adjustment. In other words, what we just witnessed was the mother of all seasonal adjustments, and the end result was, of course, definitely welcomed by the Biden administration. But anyone who believes that the US economy magically added 467,000 jobs last month is not dealing with reality. Meanwhile, we're getting a cold, hard reality check when it comes to the ongoing supply chain crisis. The Biden administration assured us that 2022 would be different. We were told that they were on top of this crisis and that they were taking emergency measures to make things better. Theoretically, once we got past the challenging period of the holiday season, economic demand would drop and congestion throughout the supply chains would ease. But that hasn't happened. Instead, we continue to get indications that things are getting even worse. Last Friday, Ford announced that it was going to, quote-unquote, temporarily halt or scale back production at 8 facilities in North America because of a lack of computer chips. Because of a lack of computer chips. The announcement, set to take effect next week, continued a series of supply chain setbacks that have affected the nation's economy in recent months. That's really bad news, and probably means that the US is facing yet another year of insanely high vehicle prices. During a call with reporters on Friday, US Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo actually admitted that there isn't going to be any quick fix for the chip shortage, contributing to supply chain disruptions, causing a ripple effect across the economy. Quote, "We didn't get into this mess overnight, and we're not going to get out overnight. This has been a problem decades in the making. There's been a slow deterioration of our manufacturing base in America over decades, and the country should never have allowed itself to become so dependent on chip production from Asia. Today, the majority of the chips that it uses is made in Taiwan. So if China invades Taiwan, there could be a wee problem. Other shortages continue to intensify as well. For example, the following comes from an article about America's nationwide baby formula shortage. Claire Salter, an Operation Give Back volunteer in Blue Ash, says she's very worried because there's not much baby formula left on the non-profit organization's pantry shelves. Quote, "It terrifies me. These 6 or 7, 8 cans we have, that's all we have right now." End of quote. If I discussed all the major shortages that the country is facing right now, that's all we have right now. End of quote. If I discussed all the major shortages that the country is facing right now, I'd be here all day. In fact, the CEO of a chain of convenience stores in Texas recently admitted that his company is, quote-unquote, probably averaging 6,500 to 8,000 outs a week from manufacturers. Kevin Smart, CEO of Texas-based convenience store chain TXB, which stands for Texas Born, has been closely monitoring weekly product availability reports from his distributors. The company operates 50 stores across Texas and Oklahoma. Each location is an average of 4,500 square feet, serving a mix of freshly prepared and sandwiches, plus a variety of grab-and-go packaged goods. Some locations also sell fruit and vegetables. Outs, by the way, refers to a specific branded product that is out of stock and can't be delivered that week. So Smart's chain is having to navigate an environment in which thousands upon thousands of products that they regularly order are in short supply. Of course, the Biden administration would like you to believe that a wonderful new era of peace and prosperity is just around the corner. Many unsuspecting Americans will indeed be fooled. But all you have to do is to examine all the evidence and come to your own conclusions. Things just keep